gun.
And it is a very
2013 Lamb-Weston Columbia Cup Heat 2A.
High points leader currently and the defending high points champion. There he is, the one. Steve David, as he makes his way down the backside.
Oberto, Steve David
coming line up here on the Pasco side, coming down the backside.
John Zimmerman away from the dock.
Nice to have some early racing.
And now the canopy's down on the 100. Kelly Stockland, who's taken over for Ryan Mello in the 100. And Brad, you said he's not going to really try to do anything fancy. He's kind of going for a boat ride. He's never been in this hole.
He has never been in this hole before. This will be the first time behind the wheel. I did talk with Kelly. He said, I'm just going to go out for a boat ride. I'm just not going to do anything silly. I would look for him to take the 100, put it on the outside, and just find some clean water and get used to driving something brand new. These are unlimited hydroplanes, but every boat is very, very unique and different.
Well, Brad, I'm going to jump in. Brad, as we get close to Heat 2A, one of the things that kind of the story within the story is obviously you'd like to try to win the heat, but we're also about accumulating points so you can get
the 11,
to the,
Peters and May, Tom Thompson
and,
at
what
the
goes
wheel.
into the mindset of those that have not won heats but are trying to get those accumulation of points, maybe shoot for a second or a third, a heat here and there to earn your spot to the finals.
Well, yeah, and I can guarantee that...
They're 9, Red Dot, Les Schwab, Fox Plumbing, John Zimmerman.
Like the Peters and May, somebody like Mark Evans, who had a good run in third place. Some of these guys that didn't get a whole lot of points, they're looking at that draw, trying to figure out, all right, just how hard do we want to run, because we've got to get points. They're looking at points that were garnered by other boats, so it's getting points for themselves, but also points in relation to other boats that are on the water. I think one of the stories we want to watch here, I think we're all thinking that Steve David is the boat to beat in this heat. Probably, certainly
100.
is, but I think one of the boats we're going to watch
Central
is
Coast
John
Airbrush,
Zimmerman at the
Kelly
9.
Stockland taking over for
He
Ryan
had a very
Mallow,
good
who has
run yesterday. He
resigned
picked
from the
up
100
300
team.
points, second place. That's great. That's a lot of points. I think the question maybe for John Zimmerman is, if he gets himself alongside Steve David and the Oberto, just how hard does he want to run him? I think if he was to get inside Steve and get the jump on him, I think he'd maybe try and hold him off. But I think if it gets to be a real pushing and shoving and race, and Steve gets the jump on him, I think he'll just let it go and pick up some points.
All right, setting up the field on the course, heading down the front stretch. That is
and
Kelly
the 57
Stockland,
Fedco,
Central
Mark
Coast
Evans.
Airbrush, the red and blue boat.
Nice to have the West Insurance down here. Boat number 22, Mike Webster. He is on the course and down here to the lower corner, coming over in front of you, Tony.
Yes, it looks nice, and I'll tell you something, it is a great story to see him back out there on the water here for this version of the Columbia Cup as he makes his way down the backside here as well. So, again, a full field. Should be some great racing here in a few minutes.
All boats have cleared the first hurdle, all across start-finish line at speed. Next up, the score-up buoy.
And we don't see anybody trolling, but you're going to keep an eye on Tom Thompson there coming down the front straightaway in case he'd like to try something. But they got about 1:20 that he'd have to kill before he went over to Tony, and he's going to instead cut the course. Real quick, guys, we sit here in the late afternoon and call the races here on this beautiful Columbia River, and we always get that late afternoon sun up in the west end. Racing early in the morning here with the sun behind us here, coming up in the east. What a beautiful sight looking up the river. This is gorgeous.
And at the top end of the course, it is the 22 West Insurance with Mike Webster in the turn 1 to the 1. 1 to the 1. Mark Evans also entering turn number 3 over by Rob Francis. Avalon Health and Rehab turn 3. Then you have the Oberto and John Zimmerman in the 9. Fox Plumbing presents Team Red Dot powered by Les Schwab. Boats are gathering at the top end of the course, and they will be led down the front stretch by Mike Webster in the 22. Steve David and the Oberto is camping out in lane number 1 right now, and here we start to jockey for positions. Look at the 11 Peters and May with Tom Thompson heading up through the field in what's lane number 3 right now, but will he stay there?
What an interesting start sequence. We're all talking about it here on the tower, that typically with 30 seconds, 40 seconds, even 50 seconds, you got boats trolling down here. Here we are now with 15 seconds to the 1 minute mark, and everybody's coming down here about half speed. They're going to run in this lane right now to come to you, Tony, but you've got Steve David in 1, Zimmerman in 2, and it is Tom Thompson in 3. And they're deck to deck as they come around.
Mark.
And it looks as if Steve David will have lane number 1, Zimmerman 2, Thompson in 3, and on the outside in lane number 5 will be Mark Evans, and in lane number 4, it'll be the number 11, or check that, it'll be the number 22, Mike Webster.
Heading down down the front, the back stretch. Old boy Oberto in lane number 1, but the Peters and May, the lime-colored boat out there with Tom Thompson heading towards Rob Francis, Avalon Hill, turn number
30
3.
seconds.
Well, and right now you've got the red dot, and actually, as we mentioned that, the Peters and May just pulls out in front in lane 3 with Webster right on the side. And the Oberto now picking up steam, entering the top point of turn number 3.
Now he's got the short route around in lane number 1, and all the boats now at speed. What's our countdown?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
It is a clean start. It's going to be the 11 Peters and May with Tom Thompson leading down the front stretch. But look at West Insurance, Mike Webster with a full boat speed coming down.
Beautiful 5-boat start coming down here in the corner. Steve David's got a carload of lane space as he came down here in lane number 1, and he's got the lead, Tony.
And he's walking those faucets across the top of those rollers, and it will be the number 1, oh boy, Oberto, as he gets out of the exit pit first. Number 2 will be John Zimmerman in the red dot.
It's just fascinating how everybody was willing to give up lane number 1, and Steve David was there, and he's going to take it around the back stretch. Lane number 1, and now about a half a Rooster Terra lead over the 9 Fox Plumbing with John Zimmerman.
And he was rocking a little back and forth as he approached the entrance pin here in turn number 3. But the Oberto still in first. Peters and May a little wide on the outside as they came in third. Zimmerman in the red dot now coming out of the exit pin in second place. But that lead's opened up a little more for Steve David.
Yeah, that short end, of course, top end turn. And at the start finish line, Steve David 148.233 miles per hour. John Zimmerman at 142.927 in second place.
Steve David comes down here. He's got a big lead. Then is John Zimmerman in second place with a good lead over Tom Thompson. The race is for 4th place right now, and it's a good one between Webster, who is just inside Mark Evans. Tony, as they come to you, watch the race for 4th.
It is a very close race as we see Webster taking to the inside. He's got a little bit of rooster tail wash on him, but he's going to make it okay. And out at 4th place will be Mark Evans of the 57 Petco Tire Factory.
Backstretch, John Zimmerman is now 2 Rooster Tails behind the leader, Steve David, and the old boy Oberto into turn number 3.
Well, Steve David hit a little bit of that chop again. There must be something right before approaching the entrance pin, making those boats rock back and forth a little bit. It's not bothering David at all as his lead's still strong over John Zimmerman in the red dot. But Peters and May in third, but gaining in 4th. It looks as though it's Mark Evans and the Webster, Mike Webster's boat is falling back just a little bit. He's really losing some ground to Mark Evans right now as he hits the exit pit.
Steve David down the front stretch with a 2 Rooster Tail lead over John Zimmerman in the 9 Fox Plumbing presents Team Red Dot.
Tony, take our leader to the corner.
And he is bouncing hard. Oh, look at him work that. The rollers are not going to be tamed. They're going to be really an issue down here later this afternoon, guys. But Steve David rolled right over the top of him. And John Zimmerman, he's in second place. He's a good 3 Rooster Tails behind for second.
And look at in third place, a strong run for Tom Thompson and the 11 Peters and May. Back to the top end of the course, flying the boat out of the water. Steve David and the old boy Oberto in turn 3.
Yeah, the old boy Oberto not just sending a message to everyone in this heat, but certainly to Jimmy Shane and Grant Trucking as they're getting ready for the following heat. But it's been a very impressive run for the old boy Oberto, and as well for the red dot. John Zimmerman's run well so far.
Oh, shocking water, and Zimmerman almost hooked it at the top end of the course. He held on to it. Steve David's going to take the checkered flag. His final lap is to 135.656. Zimmerman in second place in the 9. Fox Plumbing presents Team Red Dot. Peters and May, strong run, and here comes Mark Evans in 4th place. The winner, Steve David and the old boy Oberto at Connell Oil Heat 2A here on 610 KONA. West Insurance, Mike Webster is going to take 5th, and then the 100 is coming around the top end of the course right now into turn 3, and now turn 4. The 100 Central Coast Airbrush with Kelly Stocklin will finish in 6th position. But Steve David had that inside lane, and there was no stopping him.
No, he got that inside lane just where he wanted. He was pre-race. He had mapped out where he wanted to be. He hit the 1 minute mark perfectly for lane 1, and he just rode that lane, and that great big boat underneath him, and he rode it to victory.